Welcome back, people. What a day! What a day I've had. I did not know that this would be so much work. Everything from sorting out cases at the police station this morning, uh, getting protection orders signed, having protection orders delivered. Uh, Yeah, I'm not allowed to speak about this one now. I've been told to keep quiet for now. But yeah, hope everyone's all good. How's everyone going? Type in the chat. Have you had a good day, bad day, wonderful day? What day have you had so far? I'm just gonna wait for one or two viewers to come on here, and yeah. So my day's been hectic. I've had back to back calls from dads, moms. It's been crazy. The shit that's going on in this country is unbelievable, people. And yeah, I've been silenced for now. They're trying to silence me. I need to be a bit careful what I say now. I've been tramping on a couple of toes. But tonight we're gonna have Kyle on again. Kyle is co-hosting with me, and Dolph will be joining us as well. I don't see them online yet, but again, we're talking about these professionals, mediators, psychologists, just people using the system and using our children to make money. I've heard everything from uh, mediators being paid unnecessarily. Children were completely fine alone with dad, but now they need to pay 600 Rand an hour to a mediator to oversee, I don't know what. So dad now needs to sit in an office paying 600 Rand an hour. Does that seem fair? Type yes in the chat if you do feel that's fair. And well, give me some comments there, people. How's everyone doing? Just let me know in the chat if you've dealt with mediators, psychologists. You don't have to name names. Oh, that's part of what this is today, people. Part of what I've been served with. We cannot mention names of people right now. So whoever joins in on this chat today, let me just make sure that Kyle has received what he needs to there. I need to bring him on quickly. That is my homeboy, my co-host. I think he's putting on makeup there so long. So Kyle, when you're ready, please join in. I need you, bro, because I've had a hectic day. But let me know, people, have you been exploited, or do you feel that you've been exploited by a professional, whether a mediator? Today, I think we'll keep it with mediators and psychologists, specifically social workers who charge you for sessions to see your children, to mediate the mediations that never happen. I thought mediation was fixing things between two parents so that things can actually go a little bit smoother, so that these children aren't torn apart between the two and the fighting. A normal healthy relationship brings up normal healthy children. And it seems as soon as you speak up about your disgust with the whole situation, like I left a review on this site this Facebook page that I cannot mention right now because I've got this protection order against me now. But I left a review. So careful, people. If you leave a review on Hello Peter, your honest review about how you felt that service was, you could be arrested, because that's what I have been threatened with today. I am going to be arrested. So I see Dolph just popped up now. Dolph is very passionate. So I'm going to apologize on Dolph's behalf already here. Dolph, if you can just share your camera there. I don't know if you, let me know on WhatsApp if you'd rather leave your camera off, if you're not comfortable with being seen. But that's cool. So as I mentioned today, guys, we're going to be talking about just professionals exploiting the system and keeping our children in the loop in the system of parental alienation and extorting money out of parents. Um, right now, okay, I see Dolph is showing his face now. This is a very passionate father who is very hot for about what's happening in this country and to our kids. All that we want to do, the reason for this forum is for us to share our views and actually be vocal about it, because we silenced. I was silenced now with the protection order. Dolph in the background there, so that you see I've got my protection order served. So I can't mention any names, Dolph. So please don't encourage me to mention any names anymore, but you are welcome to, because this is the platform for you to share your feelings about how you've been abused by the system. Let's call it what it is. It is abuse. So I'm just gonna bring Dolph on here, and Dolph, you just need to introduce yourself here. Welcome, Dolph. I just met you today.
Thank
You
you.
on screen live.
Yeah,
Your
I'm sort of
connection
thinking
is a
that
bit
I
choppy.
may. I'm sort of thinking that I may have to, just for the sake of bandwidth, just kill the video a little bit, if that's okay.
All right, no problem, no problem. That's Dolph's pretty face there. Dolph is just gonna switch off the video for now, just so that the bandwidth is cool. So, Dolph, let me ask you a few questions, man.
Yes, sure.
Um, what has been your experience? And let me tell you up front, we've already got problems with names being mentioned and so forth on social media, like I said. So you don't have to mention any names, but what has been your experience with particular people in the in this mediation industry? Oh, all right, we've lost Dolph there. All right, he'll join again. All right, so on my side, guys. All right, Dolph is back. Dolph, can you hear me? Can you hear me? In the meantime, also, guys, type in the chat below if you'd like to come in and share your own experience with mediators, with psychologists, social workers that seem to give their expert opinions, which govern our lives basically on how we can see our kids. I had no idea that the mediator that I was dealing with would actually, because she never sent the invoice, I had no idea that she'd actually charges 600 rand for you to see your child in her presence, right? So that was an order from court. I don't know too
Dominique,
much about that detail. Yeah, we hear you. We hear you loud and clear.
Dominique, sorry man.
No problem.
A full I have a full 4G connection here, but I did get your question. Your question was
Yes,
around the industry and what I
your
have
ex-
experienced in the industry,
that's right.
right? In
Yes,
principle, right?
right,
So I don't want to call it the industry to start off with.
right. What would
Um,
you call it?
so yeah, I, I don't. If I have to pick a name for it, I would call it a syndicate, right? And that's off the bat. I had an experience. I've been part of Fathers for Justice for about a year now, right?
Right,
And they have a, I don't want to name names much, but I mean organizations is par for the course. That's
right,
an organization that I've been part of for a year. I actually participated in some of the Afrikaans um, interviews they had. I think Radio Pretoria was one of the Afrikaans interviews that Fathers for Justice had and had me participate in. it had me participate in or it with respect to the organization in
Yeah.
relation to talking about kids' rights and parental alienation and what section I think 32 of the Constitution and the not the Constitution, apologies for the Children's Act
Oh, yes.
um, represents. So in principle, I thought that Fathers for Justice, and I still do, that they are representative of rights. But I recently had an incident where a mediator was advised by Fathers for Justice. I went for the mediation. I asked the mediator in relation to if they have knowledge about Fathers for Justice because I am part of the organization in
Right.
principle. The mediator said no, they did not. They don't know the organizer or they don't know the CEO. I then engaged with the mediator afterwards after I effectively asked him for their phone number because my ex did the due diligence on the mediator. I asked him for their phone number. They provided it, and when I inputted the phone number in my calendar and my contact list, the
Right.
mediator actually came up on several occasions, um, saying a lot of if I don't know, you have different interpretations of things, right? So
Yes.
the mediator, from my perspective, interpreted women's rights as negative. So if you are a ardent father, you don't
Right.
want to you don't want to negatively impact your child or children
Mm-hmm.
from a father's perspective or a mother's perspective.
That's right.
You want them to have a fair outcome, right, in
That's
relation to
right.
mediation.
Yes.
So I posed that question and I got an immediate answer that this mediation has failed. Just email in relation to that, right?
Okay, but how
Now
failed?
I want
What does failed mean?
say
Oh, I'm just
again.
gonna bring Kyle on. I'm just gonna bring Kyle on here quickly. Uh,
Sure.
Kyle's just joined us quickly there, but I didn't want to break your word there, Dolph. You can continue. We'll say hi to
Yeah.
Kyle now. No, welcome,
No
Kyle.
worries.
Hey,
Hi, Carl.
what's up, guys? Hey, Dolph,
Hi,
how are you?
Carl. I'm well and you, brother.
Good, good. I've been actually listening now for quite some time, so don't worry. I've been following now. But
All
you
right.
Thank you,
continue,
brother.
brother. Keep talking. Keep
Yeah.
talking.
So effectively, what's happened is the Fathers for Justice asked me whether I have paid for the mediator after the mediation.
Right.
Now, during the mediation, I asked the mediator whether they know Fathers for Justice, and they declined. They said no, they don't know it. So, the problem I have with the whole mediation process is the fact that people end up identifying, acknowledging, and knowing each other in the process, and potentially, and this is the email I sent to Fathers for Justice. I said, listen, do you know this person? Do you receive commission from this person? And do you have anything other than just a recommendation in relation to this person? And there was no answer, right? So I asked
Right.
the mediator as well if the mediator has any, and this is important for everyone tuning in. Does the mediator have, and I apologize, voice, I've got
You're just breaking up there, but Dolph
so
and
yeah,
Dolph, just pause there quickly. I see you just breaking
hello.
up a bit, but I just wanna acknowledge Chantel. I see you there. I'm just gonna bring you onto the stream after after Dolph has said his say, okay, so
Yeah.
just hold on for us there. I'll bring you on now and you can tell your story, okay? So you were saying, Dolph?
Yeah. So in short, right? The mediator is not
Yeah.
a registered Department of Social Justice mediator. It seems
Correct.
through a request I put in through a different attorney that the mediator is definitely not registered. One. Two, the mediator seems to be using an alias. I think that's the right word in English. Alias. She is different. She is someone else in principle. Three, Fathers for Justice proposed this mediator. And in the entire incident, I suppose, compromised in completely compromised. And that's the message here. Completely compromised my access to my son and my ability to mediate in relation
Wow.
to my son. And this is the problem I have with the,
Dolph.
as you call
Wow.
it, industry.
I mean, there is some striking statements that you are making there, brother. And you literally, if and I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly. So what you are saying is that the Fathers for Justice, which is essentially a group put together that is literally in its incorporation is meant to protect the rights of fathers in South Africa, and that is a group that I'm a member of as well. So what you are basically saying here, and I just want to make sure that I understand you correctly, is that that group essentially somehow got involved in your case because they referred the mediator to you, and then also compromised your access to your son. Could I ask you to expound on that a bit more, like sort of just let the viewers kind of know like how exactly you kind of reached that conclusion?
Dolph, did you get that?
Golf, you still there? I think we might have lost
Okay.
him.
I think
Dom, can you hear me?
we'll bring Dolph. Can you hear me? I can
I
hear.
can hear you. I can hear you fine.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said
I just want
Dom.
to make sure that we.
Dolph. All right.
No,
What I'm
no,
gonna
I
do
did
is
say Dom.
I'm gonna bring Chantel on in the meantime
Okay,
here
yeah,
while Dolph just
yeah.
gets reconnected there.
Okay.
Right. Chantel,
Hi,
hello. Can you hear
how are
me?
you?
Chantal.
I can hear
Awesome,
you.
awesome, awesome. Chantel, I don't know much about you. You've just joined in. So tell us, what would you like to tell us about your experiences?
I'm actually just here. I'm actually just here to support Dolph. I'm a very good friend of him.
Okay. Okay,
Yes,
that's good.
Awesome.
and I know Dolph's story. Also going through a divorce at the moment.
Okay.
Right.
So yes, I've been following his story. I've met him about 2 months ago, and yeah, he's been through a hell of a lot. And
It sounds that way.
yes, yes.
Oh, oh
I can't from a woman's perspective, I can't imagine that his ex-wife can do things to him to keep him away from his child. He's fighting for his child.
and he's just got one son, right?
Yeah.
Dolph, are you back? Okay,
I'm here,
Dolph is
brother, but
still get,
I'm having exceptional poor quality of signal. But I
yeah,
did get some of it.
No, we understand, brother. Don't worry about it. We
we
understand.
understand. Don't stress. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
So,
I'm here though.
Chantel was just saying, well, she's witnessed firsthand what you're going through there,
yeah,
and thanks for coming on and
Yeah.
supporting Dolph's Chantel. Uh,
Thank you, Chantal.
alienated parents need all the support we can get because you
definitely,
don't know what
definitely.
goes through our minds. You have no idea
Yes.
what the
The
trauma
loneliness.
gets you thinking about.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's a lonely road.
PTSD and everything. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So Dolph, you were saying, look, how much did you spend on mediation?
Say again, could you repeat that?
How much did you spend on mediation?
How much have you spent on mediation up until,
Oh my
I guess, this
word.
point?
I'm looking at my LTE reception and it seems to be sufficient. So I'm not sure. I'm just struggling listening to some of the audio.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
all right,
So
Chantel.
I think what okay.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you going to say there, Carl?
No, I was just going to repeat your question to Dolph. I mean, so Dolph, I'm not sure if you can hear me.
No word.
So I'm gonna speak a bit slower. How much have you already spent on mediation over this period now, since the period of the alienation, etc. So like in total, how much have you more or less spent?
Okay.
Dolph, can you my word?
Ek dink Dolf is in Potchefstroom.
Yeah.
Die
Ja, nee, ek
receptie
dink hy
daar is baie swak,
ja,
maar hy sit al vir 3 jaar met
3
mediation,
jaar.
dit weet
Mhm.
ek. En ek dink die laaste getal wat hy vir my gesê het was oor die 400,000.
400, 400, like
Yes,
400.
yes.
Are you wow? On is that just on
He's
mediation,
fighting
or
for his son.
does that include like lawyers' fees, court fees, those type
Yes,
of things?
yes. That's it.
Okay,
That
so it's
yes.
wow,
I'm not
wow.
sure what
So that
what the mediation is apart from that, but I
no,
think that, well, I spoke to him a month ago about this, and he said it's over 400,000 because he is still trying to divorce his ex-wife.
wow, and he's not even divorced yet.
No, 3
Nope.
years.
And
And when last has he seen his children?
Sorry, just say again.
When last has he seen his kids? Wanneer laas het hy sy kinders gesien?
I since I can
Hey, sorry,
I second out in naweek gehad.
Dominic.
so, sorry, you back. We got you there, Dolph.
Sorry, Dominic. Yeah, sorry. So the total was in the region of 130,000 that I've spent
Oh,
just on social worker
mediation.
reports.
Wow.
Mediation, I didn't spend money on because my ex spent that money according to her, but also it was also the therapy that my son had needed that I also prevented on.
Yeah, no, I definitely I can kind of relate
Sorry,
with that.
Dominic, the signal is really poor here. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I need to move from this ghost town. But the reality is this, right? That mediation doesn't work if it's not a registered mediator, right? And one has to be very certain that the person who does the mediation is registered with the Department of Social Justice. That's the only way you can get mediation to work. Now, I also want to say this. If you're not aware, Kyle and Dominique, is that the north, is it northwest? No, the northern regions, Limpopo, put out a practice directive for mediation to be obligatory as per the current legislation. And it said that no divorce matter can be brought in front of the court if mediation has not been performed.
Correct. Yes.
So
That
in
is
principle,
current law.
yeah. Hello?
Tofu, hear you?
I am. So in principle, I think what's happening is you will hear me most times as opposed to I will be, receiving your audio. So in principle, no mediation. There was a practice directive put out by the judge president of Limpopo. So all of the judge presidents of all of the regions and all of the provinces followed suit, if you can imagine. They said, similar to a CCMA action, that if you do not mediate or try to mediate, there can be no case in court. That's the principle of the matter. So you can only mediate when you have a mediator that's registered with the Department of Social Justice. That's the problem I faced. That's the obstacle I had with Fathers for Justice, recommending a mediator that is not registered by the DSJ.
Do you mean DSD, Department of Social Development, right?
Yes, the Department of Social Justice, they govern mediators and people that have a say. And effectively, if I'm walking, I'm literally walking across the N12 at the moment to just get a better reception. But in principle, the Department of Social Justice governs mediators, and there is a specific mediation course they need to follow. There's a specific mediation instruction, and importantly, when they issue a instruction of non-mediation, in other words, when they say you cannot mediate or the mediation has failed, it has to be an official certificate of non-mediation, which includes their registration number as a mediator. So I just want to put it out there for people. It's extremely important. I have been misled in principle by Fathers for Justice. I have been misled by a mediator that's you know readily available, if I may say so, without naming names, and effectively being stripped from communication with my son in relation to a failed mediation, which effectively was, in principle, in my opinion, being injustly, if you want to apply that word, applied by the mother.
Yeah. I actually just want to ask a question quickly. Dom, can you mute Dom? Okay, perfect. I just want to ask you, Dom. I'm pretty sure you can still hear me. Tell me quickly. So you were saying that you were stripped of communication with your son due to a failed mediation session, and I find that very, very interesting because what in that mediation session did you do essentially that would warrant the cutting of communication between between a father and a son? What did you do in that mediation that these social workers found it necessary, or that they believed that it was necessary, that you no longer have contact with your son?
Look, yes, it's not a social worker. It is it's the mother that decided this. She has been deciding communication between myself and my son for some time now. She has been flaunting family advocates recommendations. She's been flaunting Rule 43. She's been doing all sorts of strange things in relation to communication with my son. So it's not the mediator in principle, but what has exacerbated the situation, and I've got
Love that word.
a letter from her attorney, is the fact that the mediation has failed and the attorney is blaming me for the failure in mediation. So counting in my favor, I suppose, is the fact that I had a court-appointed attorney for my son. And that's something fathers don't necessarily know or
Yep.
apply. You have the right, and your son or daughter have the right to have an attorney appointed for them. The nice thing about that, I suppose, nice is the word, is that you get to go to a freelance or a pro bono attorney or legal aid or a university that has a pro bono attorney section, and you get to ask them to help your son or your daughter. They don't have an income, they're not working, but they are a legal entity. So that's something that's generally overlooked. And I was fortunate to have the insight, I suppose, to have someone go and tell me to get an attorney for your son. So between the mediation, the legal process that I am driving myself at the moment, and also the attorney that has been a court appointed for my son, I effectively try and drive outcomes that's related to his best interest.
Of course. So, Dolph, I think there's a bit of a delay between our audio and your audio.
Yes.
So we will just try to kind of make do and make it work. Okay. So basically, what you are saying is that and Dom, if you don't mind muting Dolph again, is basically, so your wife again is withholding contact, and literally what you are saying is that there is nothing that you can do in order to restore that contact. There's no, I mean, you have gone to the courts, you have sought relief from the courts, but there was nobody. You essentially could get no assistance from the courts in order to actually restore contact for your kid or with your kid. Now, I understand your wife is an attorney as well. Was she able to assist you in this matter?
Try and drive it as much as in my opinion, narcissistic mother would. Remember, there's a tactic called what is it? Alienating parent syndrome, and there's also there's several syndromes that is named after parents and or individuals that are either narcissistic or absolutely gung-ho, if I can use that term, in relation to having access to your child, right? So I have not exhausted everything. I mean, I will absolutely 100% myself go to the Constitutional Court. There is, there's the thing in relation to your truth, my truth, and the actual truth, or your version, my version, and the truth.
Yep.
So, without giving any kind of audience to my case, there is a truth that is different to the version of the mother. And that truth is something that I'm standing astute with and pushing forward little bit by little bit. At the end of the day, the Family Advocate's Office has a process that you can actually go and contest the outcomes of their, this is an important word, recommendations. They don't make the final verdict. As much as attorneys want you to believe that, that's not their call. It's not their verdicts. It's the Family Advocate's Office recommendation.
That the courts take into
The
consideration. Yeah.
verdicts are still informed by, and I have made provision for this, by specialists. And I want everyone to understand this. Sometimes attorneys make themselves available as all sorts of psychological specialists, psychiatrists, something else than being an attorney. And there's a word, I don't recall it right now, but there's a word where attorneys have to also represent their clients. And that word often keeps fathers like us in the doldrums because they end up pushing really, really hard, ending up in fathers giving up, not wanting to contest a simple matter like 50-50 contact care and maintenance of their children. That's a simple thing. It's not a.
Yeah.
It's not a. Are you there?
Yep, we hear Dolph. I just wanted to say we've actually just got a question from our audience, and so the question was is for you to kindly just state again what the process is of the Family Advocate offices. I'm not sure where Clayton is based, so if you can maybe just state the processes again. But I believe that the process is universal throughout the country. So if you don't mind just kind of going over that process for Clayton, just kind of state exactly what that process is.
Simple form that you fill in. The form is available on the Department of Social Justice's website. Sorry, my voice is leaving me, and it's been like that for some time this afternoon. But there's a simple form you fill in on the DSJ's website.
Sorry
Hello,
to interrupt.
Dominique?
I just want to bring it up on screen here for the viewers. You said what's the name of that form?
Dominique, you broke up. Hello?
Sorry, I was just asking what's the name of that form?
I'm not sure, but I will post it to you. I'm not sure what the form is, but if you go and just Google a simple phrase, if you just Google a simple phrase like contesting the DSJ's report, you will, or the Family Advocate's report, you will find it. It's something that I found. It's something that I effectively had to literally, physically deliver to the Family Advocate's office some time ago because the email does not work. There's a problem with the Family Advocate's office and also the Department of Social Justice. There's a problem with their offices. There's a problem with delivery of emails. So what I did was from Potch, I drove to the Family Advocate's office in Pretoria, and I delivered it by hand, and I effectively gave them a letter of delivery, or a transfer letter, I suppose, of transfer from that letter that I opposed their uitkomste. What's the word? Their it's not a report, it's a recommendation, is what the Family Advocate gives. They give a recommendation. That's the bottom line. It still has to be approved by the court. It still has to be approved and put into some sort of
Yeah.
family plan or some sort of plan. So that is the bottom line.
Christopher just said it's Form 2 is the name of the form.
Yeah, I'll send you the report. I mean, I don't have it offhand.
We lost him again. So I just wanted to kind of just deal with Clayton's question. I just wanted to say to you, Clayton, bro, if you don't know the process with regards to what needs to be done, where it needs to be done, there is, if you actually go onto the government's website, and I'll post the link in our group maybe a bit later. Basically, there is an outline of the process for seeking relief in the family courts. So basically what it kind of tells you is exactly, if you, let's for instance say that you are seeking access to your child, it will literally tell you what forms you need to fill out. It will tell you what the period is after you submitted that form, what the period is that the clerk has in order to actually advise you when a court date can be set. It literally gives you the entire outline. So I would definitely suggest to you. I don't know if you are currently in any litigation or any matter, but I would suggest that you go read up on that and literally familiarize with yourself with that. If not, if you would like to, we can assist you as much as we can. But we definitely can't, handle your case for you, if that makes sense. We're here to help. So what I would suggest, go read up on that information, know the law, know the acts, and it will definitely help your case. I don't know, does it, Clayton, you can maybe just let us know if that answers your question. Dom, are you still there?
I'm still, yeah, I just muted myself with all the reverb,
Yeah.
Dolph is back.
We've got him on vid this time. Awesome.
Dolph, just to yeah, but Dolph's bandwidth goes out all the time because he's on video.
Yes.
So yeah, just turn off your video there on your side, Dolph.
I have. I think I did. I
No,
didn't.
you're still on video. Yeah,
So
there
I
you go.
apologize. So I've got this
problem.
against my ear, and you got the video of my ear for some time. So apologies. So it helps a little. Yeah, it will help. So look, I am not against mediation, right? And this is a topic of this discussion. I simply say that when you mediate, make sure that the mediation is official and the mediator is registered with the Department of Social Justice. I have had a run-in with Fathers for Justice where they have promoted a mediator, where they have effectively asked me for payment towards the mediator, which led me to ask the question whether there's a commission payment, because the mediator stated that they are not knowledgeable of Fathers for Justice. So there's an immediate link there in layman's terms.
Yeah.
And then secondly, Fathers for Justice never applied to any message or email that I sent in relation to asking the question whether there is a conflict of interest. My son has an appointed attorney through Legal Aid, and that's what I also propose fathers to do, get their children an appointed attorney. The appointed attorney gives a I can't think of nice.
Yeah,
I
I
can't think of I can't think of nice words, but they don't care about what you think. As a father, they don't care about what the mother thinks. As a mother, they care about the rights of the child. Now, whether the child is 2 or 6 or whatever the age may be, there is I think, a fair deduction, if you will, in relation to the child's rights. That's my perspective. But get yourself an appointed attorney. Make sure that when you get anyone that is appointed for any kind of mediation, that person is a Department of Social Justice registered person, and also make sure that you don't have someone pushing you for payment like Fathers for Justice did, or asking you for payment, or interfering in any way,
So,
because
Dov,
my son's attorney said that's a conflict of interest.
yeah, Dov, I literally just want to kind of, stop you from kind of just not stop you from, but literally kind of deal with
Sure.
what you are saying as you go along. Because what you are saying is really, really interesting, and I don't want to miss. I don't want, or at least I don't want our audience to miss what it is that you are kind of stating. Because I can state
Yeah.
for without a doubt that I've had exactly the same experience as what you have. And so the information that you are sharing is so valuable to fathers out there, as well as to all alienated parents, in terms of just understanding, what it is that you are, what it is that you are about to go through, And at the end of the day, let me ask you this: you basically stating that the the social worker, or that Fathers for Justice, and the social worker was referred to, or that the Fathers for Justice referred the social worker, and then they asked you for payment, right? Let me ask you this: Are you able to basically state who that social worker is? Because I think
No, it's actually, yes, I can. It's not a
Mhm.
social worker, it's a
Okay.
mediator. The
Uh-huh.
mediator is in fact on the mediation network, the network that you provided me. It's a lady called Lee Wade.
Lee
I have
Wade.
since Lee Wade, Lee
I think I've
Leewade,
heard of that name before.
Lee Wade.
Yeah, I think I've heard
She's
of the name before.
actually on the, yeah, she.
Dolph, we lost you there again, brother. So if you can hear me, maybe just try reconnecting again. Dom, are you still there? Hey guys, I don't know about you, but this conversation is really, really interesting. I mean, the information that is being shared, I this is what you guys can expect. This is what we've been trying to warn you against. This is what we've been telling you. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not here to bump our cause and to kind of say, hey, pay they say this, pay they say that. I mean, I can assure you, from my end, if you don't join hands with us, if you decide, you know what, you want to go with this alone, it's your right, you can do it. But you know what, let me forewarn you then. Learn from our experiences. Like I said, I'm about 100k deep in my case. I don't know how much Dom is deep in his case, but I'm sure it's a pretty penny. Dolph has literally just stated that he's about 150k deep just on mediation fees, just on mediation fees. So at the end of the day, you're looking at a pretty penny, and this is something that my family has warned me about from the beginning, right? From the beginning, and I've decided, look, I'm going to fight this. I'm going to fight this demon on a different front. And so join hands with us. I think that is the most effective way that we are going to bring change in this country. It is the most effective way that you are going to get your voice heard, because you are in a group who literally has like-minded. They are going to do exactly the same thing that you are going to do, but they are going to do it much, much quicker. They've got more power. And so, I mean, it is literally just, for me, it is enlightening to see that finally South Africa is coming on board, and they are actually seeing the injustices that is happening in our country. They are seeing how these social workers and these lawyers, they act with impunity, and they are just chasing money. They are just chasing money. They destroy families, and it is not right. I mean, we've got a situation that we've been dealing with today at Pain SA, and I can tell you, the situation stems from a social
Too
worker
many.
who doesn't like what we are doing. These people, they don't, and they are going to do anything to stop us, guys. They're going to do anything to stop us. I'm telling you. I mean, that is a matter that we are going to handle. We are not going to back down,
That's
because
right.
at the end
Yeah.
of the day, at the end of the day, we're not scared. If you want to send us lawyers, letters, whatever your name is, I'm not even going to give you that ratification to actually mention your name on this post, because you're not that important. You're not that. But what I can tell you is, lady, you have another thing coming to you. I can assure you, we are not scared for your lawyers. We do not back down. We are going to challenge you on anything, any front that you want to challenge us on. If you want to take a child away from the parent, you are going to pay hell. I can assure you that, and that is coming from an alienated father. You have no idea. You have no idea the lengths that I will go to in order to see my kid. No idea, and I won't stop. Dom, over to you, brother. I think I'm getting a bit too emotional, man.
It's like these people don't have children, or maybe they don't have children. I mean, I can't. Can you imagine, Kyle, a mediator who is a father, who's a mother, who will actually profit off of this? Like I said, 600 rand an hour to see your kids is what I heard.
These
from
people,
a father
they have
today.
no models. They have no models.
Cis, man, cis. That's all I can say.
I can assure you, like, you know what? For me, I used to hear these things about the legal profession, and look again. If you are a above board lawyer, if you're somebody who has models, this is not towards you. But what I'm about to say is aimed towards all of those backhanded alleyway devils. I'm gonna call you a devil. Those lawyers that literally are only in it for the bag. They're only in it for the cash. They're only in it for the dollar. They're only in it to make money. And you can spot them really quickly. Because what they will do is they will literally always be sending you messages about money. Always about money. Like,
isn't it sad that, sorry to break your word there, Kyle. Isn't it sad that we need to be the whistleblowers? Like, they're not even protecting their profession anymore. Where are the good social workers,
the good guys,
mediators,
the good
coming
lawyers
out and saying, listen, we don't practice that.
Exactly.
This is how it's. So please, if you're watching this, reach out to us. We would love to have you on the show and set us straight. If we're going off track here, if we inciting the wrong, I don't want to say hate speech or anything.
Yeah.
We've been trying. I mean, they're trying to silence us. So we obviously saying the right things here already. Why else would I be
something right?
You know how quickly this protection order was served, but my child was still not mediated. The voice of the child was never done. This was done in 1 day.
Within minutes.
One day.
Within minutes, bro.
Within minutes.
But your case with your child is taking years.
My child has never been spoken to.
Dolph, I mean, you can attest. He's been in this now for what, 3 years, I believe, right? If I'm not mistaken, 3 years. And I mean, the question is there again. Is there to Dolph. When do you think that this 3-year battle? When do you think it is going to end?
So I've now asked my wife's attorney, right? I've now asked my wife's attorney to say, listen, because he has said she is not interested in mediation. So I've asked her this: you mediate as per the directive of the judge presidents of all of the provinces, or you give me a trial date. That's the two directives I've given them today. You mediate or you give me a trial date.
And that is your right to ask. You actually have the right to ask that. If mediation fails, you have the right to ask. You have the right to ask the mediator to refer the matter back to court so that it can be ruled upon. You have the right to do that.
Yeah, the mediator had no clue. Lee Wade had no clue. When I looked at her documentation, first off, she sends you documentation, or the mediator sends you documentation effectively setting out the rules. When I read through that, I knew she had absolutely no clue. And I'm not a mediator. I'm looking at it from a layman's perspective. I'm looking at it from a perspective of putting something on the table and mediating it. And I have got contract mediation experience as an engineer. So I'm looking at it and I'm saying, this will absolutely not get you anywhere. But I signed it, I went through with it, found out that the due diligence that was done on her turned out that she is absolutely no mediator at all.
Quality or Okay. Just one quick question, Dolph. From a member of our audience. Tell me quickly, what is the process for actually appointing a lawyer or a legal representative for your child?
Uh, sorry, I missed that discussion. Say again.
Okay, let me ask you again. What is the process to appoint a lawyer or a legal representative for a child or for your child? What is the process? Do you know?
I would
I'm sure you
absolutely
should know.
look. I didn't get. Yeah, I didn't get all of it, but what I did get was the legal representative for your child. My absolute recommendation would be for every parent to get their child legally represented.
How?
Whether you pay
How
for it,
how do you do that? What is
well,
the process? How do
it's
you
easy.
how?
It's easy. That's simple. That's simple. That's simple. That's a simple answer. That child
Okay.
does not earn an income. That
Yep.
child,
Right.
under the
Correct.
law of this country, has has legal representation rights. The
Yep.
same as what you
Correct.
do, whether
Mm-hmm.
Is it
you
age
earn income
specific?
or not.
No,
It's
it's
not
not.
age
So
specific,
again,
is it?
No.
it's not, well, it's income specific, so it's not in
Right.
Yeah.
principle, right?
Yeah. It's
But
not.
I mean, a child of 7 years, that's what I'm working with, is a
Right.
child that does not have any income, right? Because they're a, they're a child, you know. So there's no income, there's no there's no proof of nothing, and I asked them, the court, legal aid, as a representative officer of the court to represent my son. And that's the long and short. That's how easy it is. I
Yep.
went to the courts though. I went to the children's court. I asked the children's court. The children's court appointed it. I apologize for my voice fading. It's really
Hey, no,
fading.
you don't need to
I have
apologize,
a,
brother.
No,
yeah,
Dolph's been recovering
yeah.
from a lung
So I
infection, he
apologize.
told me earlier.
I had a hell
No, no,
of a double pneumonia. So
don't apologize, brother.
I can feel my breath fading. I wish I had a COVID, to be honest with you, but with respect to the people who did have COVID,
Yeah.
I think the double pneumonia was a little tad on the bad side, if I have to reflect
Okay.
on my 43
We
years of
we
age.
we have we're
So
happy. We're glad you recovered, brother. That's all that matters.
yeah,
Yeah.
You recovered.
I'm not
Yeah.
there
You're here
yet.
now.
I'm not there yet. I'm listening to myself and I'm sounding like an idiot at times. But
No, no,
in
you're good.
No.
principle, yeah, in principle, right? You have the right to have your child appointed an attorney. What you have
Yes.
to understand is that when you do that, that attorney in law, by law, is not aligned to you and not aligned to the mother, not aligned to anyone but the minor child.
Correct.
So
And
if
in
there
and,
was
and in this,
any,
sorry, Dolph, in
yes,
this case, do they actually, because the term best
no,
interest of the child
no,
gets
no,
thrown around very
no,
loosely.
no, no. I, I had someone from legal aid appointed, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Now, these people
No, I,
are
I wouldn't recommend that. I
flooded.
wouldn't recommend
These
that.
people, these people are flooded with work. They
yeah.
I
have
would
much
not
to do.
recommend that.
This guy is a good attorney. This is a small town. This is
Yeah.
a this town is not big. It's as big as the suburb I lived in, right? The entire town. So
Hmm.
that's with all of its suburbs. Potchefstroom is not big. I asked questions around the ability of this attorney, and he has very high accolades. He can absolutely do what's what's needed, and he did at times respond positively, not to me, not to my ex, but to the
But to the
needs of my
courts.
child.
Yeah.
But his workload is too high. That's the
Of
reality.
course.
That's what
Public
that's what
workers.
I have to do.
Public servants.
Yes, that's well, it's not public service, but it is, I suppose. It's the Law Society of South Africa is the one avenue you can take, and then also the avenue that I took was by chance legal aid, which is
Yeah,
effectively also a public paid service application, if you will.
correct. So just to Clayton,
So,
Clayton, you've asked the question, and we hear you. You basically just sort of want to know what is the process of appointing attorney. Basically, at any point in time, at any sort of interaction that you have where the child's needs are discussed, you can stop that process and you can tell them, before we proceed, I would like to have my child represented by a legal representative, and by law they cannot proceed with that session until until your child has been represented or is legally represented. So there is no formal process. It is literally just, if the child's needs are discussed, if anything with regards to the child is being discussed, then what you have the right as the parent to basically appoint or to request that the state appoints a lawyer for the child, or you could appoint your own personal lawyer if you have the funds. Which is what Dolph was saying, that it's a game of money, and that's what we're trying to get across. If you are like the average South African out there, you necessarily don't have millions or hundreds of thousands sitting in your bank account, and we totally we understand that, and that is why we are here. That is why we are taking up the fight.
And at this point, if there's any attorneys, if there are any professionals in, on the legal side that can advise here, please do not be shy. Again, I'm looking, I'm looking for remedies for our own problems here. Kyle.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Uh,
your Cardin is saying, well, to get legal representation for a child, children has its own risks. Appointment of curator ad litem, which is a legal term, for children has also risks. There are a few cases of which I'm aware of where the legal representation from legal aid did not act in the best interest of children. Young children cannot give instructions to legal representative, and that is 100% correct, guys. That is the
yes,
downside of appointing legal representative. But I think it's
yes.
like that. Even if you get a lawyer, you have no idea. You don't. It's like a gamble you're taking. You kind of just throwing the dice, and you are hoping it's going to land with a
But,
lucky
but,
number.
but,
And
wait,
you're
wait,
hoping
wait,
it's going to strike.
wait, guys. You
yeah.
can't appoint a lawyer. You cannot appoint an attorney. You have to understand this, right? The child has legal rights. When you start, this is the exact principle why I said you cannot. My ex-wife paid for at some point when I think everyone realized there's a conflict of interest. When my son's attorney said there's a conflict of interest, she ended up paying for the mediation in full, which
Mhm.
was 10,000 rand, 5,000 rand per
Wow,
person, right?
small win. Yep.
So she ended up paying
Mm.
for everything. And now, today, this morning, I was blamed for failed mediation and the fact that she was willing to pay for it. Now, you go and think about this, right? I'm an engineer.
Hmm.
When someone pays me to do a design, an engineering design,
Yep.
there is a conflict of interest barrier where you don't. There's a term called owner's engineer where someone is appointed to look at the engineering design from a third party perspective. It works like that in everything that we do, in psychology, in engineering, in law. There is always a third party person appointed to look at the outcomes. And what I'm saying is, you cannot pay an attorney to look after your child because it will look like, and it will at some point be pushed as that you effectively affected the outcome.
Yeah.
So I, sorry, I've got
No,
at this time of night, I've got phlegm So I'm at some point, you have to appoint a third party person, but you have to make sure that
Dolph, we lost you again there, brother.
sorry, you have to make sure
No
that
problem.
that person is. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yep,
yes.
we hear you good.
Yeah, you have to make sure that that person is appointed externally.
Yeah,
So
independently.
it's important. If you just think about how attorneys behave today, they they don't care about children's rights. We said it
They don't.
earlier today. They don't care. They care about their clients' rights, the people who are paying the invoices. That's what they care about.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is basically they that's what we're saying is that these attorneys are just chasing the bag, man. They just after that
It's
quick
all
buck.
about the money.
Y-
So,
and
so is it safe to say that it's human trafficking, or am I again gonna step on someone's toes
No,
here?
no, no, no. If I have to, if I have to select a term for it, that would
Yeah,
be an appropriate term.
right. Human trafficking.
correct, correct.
Dolph, Chantel, your good friend Chantel asked me to ask you this question. When do you
Yes.
think this 3-year process is gonna end?
Well, I have effectively asked my wife's attorney because I've been dealing with my own legal matter for some time now. And
Yep.
I've been dealing with it because of the some of the discussions that we've had. But
Yeah.
most of the attorneys are absolutely. I I'm on I'm on.
Dolph,
They are
I'm gonna
oblivious.
give you the
They are.
permission to be frank now.
No,
Be
no,
frank,
I
brother.
will not be frank, brother. I won't be frank like I was with
Like
you at
Frank from
some point.
Shameless. You know Frank from
You being
Shameless.
too much of a gentleman. This is the dirty brother. You being too much of a gentleman, man.
Yeah.
About I will talk about the hair on your mother's vagina if I have to. Right?
Okay, let's
And
not go there.
that's how
That's the
frank I
dirty.
will be. And I apologize for
Yeah.
people, but I mean we're all male and female. We have either of the sex organs and we have hair on it. And I will talk about it if I have to. The
Okay.
color of the gray, I will talk about it if I have to. So if I have to
Dom,
bring your
there's
mind,
children listening, bro.
if I
There's children listening.
yeah, if I have to bring your mind to a picture, that's what it entails. So I
Yeah.
will not talk about my ex in relation to that, but
No.
Okay.
I will also not talk about my relationship with my son in relation to that. But what I will say is the fact that parents today, and answering Chantel's question, is if I get a if I get a court date finally, I will go to court. Or if I get a date to do sensible, accurate, accredited mediation, I will do it. Either or. That's the simple answer. Either or. Either or. I'll go to court and represent myself with everything that I have, or I will absolutely go to mediation and settle a very simple argument. Remember, there's two aspects to a divorce case. The one is the financial argument and the accrual. The other one is the relationship with your children. I have no
Which,
quibble
which
with
is more
the
important?
with the former. With the former. I don't care. I have lost I've lost everything, like I think most dads have, right? But I will not lose. I will not lose. And I'll say this,
No, brother, I'm telling you also, you're not going to lose, bro.
I will
You're not.
say this loud
You're
and
not going to
proud.
lose.
I will not lose the relationship with my son. I will
No, bro.
not lose
You cannot.
50-50.
You cannot
50-50
lose
contact, 50-50 contact
for
care
nothing.
maintenance.
Correct.
50-50 contact care
For
maintenance and
nothing.
responsibility with my child. I will not lose it. I will not. I
Exactly.
will go to the highest court in this country. I will talk about someone's mother's color of their pubic hair. I will do it.
Let's not
I
go
will
there.
do
No,
it.
let's
I literally don't care. My
yeah.
marriage was strewn with alcohol and drug abuse and all sorts of issues related to stupid marriages and being
Well, but
a stupid.
that's now actually, Dolph, I would like to pause there before because you kind of gave us
Yeah.
now a scoop, a different point of view in terms of what has actually now transpired. So I mean, so what you were saying is that there are circumstances that have transpired in your past or in your marriage, that has not been healthy towards the upbringing of a child. What has changed now?
No. That in principle it stopped before there was real upbringing of my son. So
Okay, so
it
it was
was a
before this.
yeah.
Okay, that let's just get
Sorry,
that
I
in.
just want to 93. Yeah,
Sorry, say
so
again, Doc.
it effectively stopped before that, but there were other factors, right?
Yeah.
That
Now, Doc,
that
I
I
don't know.
will not
Mhm.
disclose here, but
Go ahead.
I'm here.
I just wanted to.
I'm here. There
So
are other factors. Yes.
no, go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
So there are other factors effectively that transpired. It's in relation to um what I mentioned earlier that effectively ended up resulting in the complete um dissolvement. I'm looking for the right English here, but the complete dissolvement of my marriage, and it's you see many times it's both parents. I don't want to use the fault, but it's both parents that contribute to the actual
Now
end of it. That's the
that that
reality.
is that is
That's the
that is a
reality,
very good
right?
point. That is, mhm.
So
That is
if you think about it, when one parent confronts another with the reality, when someone confronts someone else with the color of their mother's vagina hair, and that's
mhm.
just using an analogy. But I'm a Dutchman, so
Just by the way,
for me that's
Dolph's views does not represent the views of Paine.
so.
Just a
We
So
platform
definitely
for
don't.
every.
ek is jammer, maar as iemand die Afrikaans sê die Afrikaans sê is as iemand oor jou ma se koekhare praat, nê, dan praat ons daaroor. And it's something that it effectively means that you don't want to talk about it because no one does, right?
Yeah.
But
No,
sometimes
definitely.
one has to. Sometimes one
So
has to. That's the
so
reality. And I
just on
always
that.
urge parents. I mean, I've got this a bit of a not a ministry, but I'm
Dolph, we lost you again there, brother.
yeah, I'm here.
And
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
we can hear you.
So I'm trying to guide some people around Potch area in relation to how things can go horribly wrong. Horribly
Yep.
wrong. And we
Right.
Yep.
all know it as grown men, we all know it as individuals, we all know when it goes wrong, we know it goes wrong. But we end up stuck in a bit of a I suppose a religion called marriage or a religion called wife worship or whatever it's called. But I don't want to go into those details. What I want
Yeah.
to get into is the nitty gritty of the discussion in
Yeah, I
relation
think
to
let's keep
mediation.
it with
And
regards. Let's keep it with regards to
yes,
parental alienation. Let's not get into the kind of the marriage
yeah.
back
Look,
end.
it's
Um. Mhm.
parental alienation has got a different word to it, and I think it's more appropriate. It's a word called alienating parent syndrome or
But yeah,
malicious
parental
parent
alien.
syndrome.
Yes. Yeah.
There are there are there are there are different words. There are even different words for being a narcissist. It's
Yeah.
narcissistic behavior. It's all sorts of you know behavior and this,
narcissism.
that, and the other.
Is yeah.
And I suppose that it depends on which country you're in, what it's called at what time. But at the
Now,
moment,
just before you go on quickly, brother, I just want to pose one question quickly to you, because I
yeah,
think this is really related, and I think maybe a lot of parents can also relate. I
yeah,
would like to ask you, as well as the audience, do you think that somebody who has a past, that somebody who's, let's say, has done some things in their past, has done certain things, like you were saying, there were certain things that happened in your past, in your marriage, that wasn't good, but obviously, you've kind of turned around, you've changed that. Do you think that somebody who has a past does not deserve to be, or that would be a reason why that person cannot see his children, or cannot see their children, after they've actually gone through it? Do you think that there's legal grounds for that?
Right. So we'll wait for comments to come in there.
Did we lose off?
Just pose that question again there.
So literally the question is just that, does anybody think that, a lot of the issues that I'm seeing is that there's accusations of a person's past, and the person's past kind of is sort of interrupting who they are at this point in time. It is interrupting their ability to see their kids at this point in time. So, I'd just like to pose it to the audience. Do you guys think that, a person's past should prohibit them from actually being able to parent their kids today?
Well, I'll give my answer on that, if that's okay.
What's
Everyone
your
has
answer,
a
brother?
past.
What do you?
Everyone has a past. But how ashamed are you of your past? I'm willing to put mine on the line. Online.
Me too.
I'm transparent, so I've got nothing to hide. But it's usually the ones that has the most to hide that
That are
practices
the
the
most quiet.
alienation.
That are the most one. That is correct. I agree with that sentiment. I agree with that
How many, how
sentiment.
many, how many professionals, how many people have we invited online that has rejected that? But yeah, on the back end, they'll attack us. They'll send us messages and
Yeah.
all of that in private. I'm not
Don't do
allowed
this.
to
Don't do
name names.
that.
I know you guys love me naming names. For now, I've got a gag order of some kind. But
Yeah.
don't worry,
Let's keep
we'll
it clean.
get around that. We'll get
Let's keep
around
it
that.
clean for now, until
Right?
we have a way
Until
forward.
the constitution changes where we can name and shame and put the dirt out there and let the people decide, because it seems like it's lawlessness here. Crazy is normal, good is evil. Come on, man. Like, all right. That's just from my perspective. So
Look, guys, at the end of the day,
my dirty washing can be on the line. I don't care. I'm sure Dolph feels the same.
yes,
Dolph?
I'm there. I just want to quickly answer your question previously,
Yes.
right? I think your history has a lot to do with who you are. If I have to look at my past and where I am and the decisions I have made, have an absolute pinnacle or pivotal point to play in the decisions that I have made, right? I think that in my view, that many parents who end up being parents from divorced relationships or relationships where parental alienation have taken place, or relationships with their parents, or other people that there may have been some sort of sexual interface at a young age. I think all of those relationships are completely screwed up and have to be addressed. All of them. And what I think in relation to that is we as men today have a responsibility to stand up against a simple thing like parental alienation. And I call it a simple thing, but it's not simple at all. But we have a responsibility towards our children, right? To stand up and be recognized for the sake of our children, whether it's in person, whether it's in court, whether it's with an attorney, whether it's wherever, whether it's in public, and I like that. I like that because a lot of my stuff is gaining public knowledge now. There's a lot of things that happened in my marriage that I am now providing people some level of counseling against and say, don't do this. It's basic stuff. Don't do drugs, don't do alcohol, don't do weird sexual experiences. Don't do these things because they don't work out. They end up in divorce. They end up in broken relationships. They end up in children. And that's the important message I have today. And that brings me to tears a little bit. It ends up in children being broken. I have a 7-year-old son that's broken because of the decisions
And
two adults made.
yeah.
And we all know this.
Oh,
So when it comes to parental alienation, when it comes to therapy, when it comes to bringing it back to the discussion topic, when it comes to getting mediation, make sure you have a mediator that's registered. Make sure you are following guidelines of people that have your interests at heart, which is not Fathers for Justice, if I have to have any say in it. Make sure you are listening to people like Pain SA and you are effectively. Hello?
you know, we
Yes,
still
yes,
here,
we
brother. We
are.
can hear you.
We are. Oh, yeah. Okay. And
We
Dolph
lost
was
him there.
just on a roll. Dolph
He
was
was
on a
just
roll.
about to give us the nitty gritty there. Huh, Dom?
The eulogy. What is it? What do they call it? The eulogy.
Like, he was
Punchline
getting
or
into it there.
But you know
Listen,
what? We've
I
been
think
going one
today was
hour,
an
20 minutes now,
awesome
and
episode.
we've just got some new people online. Clayton, you sound like you have a lot to tell us. All right. So I'm going to invite you onto the show next.
Yep.
People, if
Yep.
you
Let's
want
get
to
him up
just,
here.
if you
Let's
want
get
to
him up
use
here.
this platform, if you want to use this platform and just speak your mind, message us. We're going to
Tell us
end
what
off
happened.
this live now.
Give us the dirty. Give us the dirty.
Give us the
This is what
dirty.
we want. We want to
we,
know.
we just need a little bit of insight into your matter, and the floor is yours. This is your platform now, and I don't think anyone can silence this anymore, man.
Nope.
Like give us that at least. Don't take away
Give
our
us gag
children
orders.
and our voice and our
Exactly.
and our human
Don't blame
rights
us.
and our dignity and our humanity.
Jeez.
We're walking
Have some
around here
mercy.
like criminals here outside. Near fuck
Have
that
some
shit.
mercy. But anyway, guys, look, I think today was really awesome episode. We got into some real good, some substance, some detail in terms of how, what happens in a case, what happens when you start to litigate and those type of things, and the cost that you are looking at. If you were to kind of pursue that avenue. So I mean, before we end off, I actually just wanted to ask, Dolph, as a father, what would be his, I mean, because right now he cannot contact his child. If his child was to watch this, let's say, worst case scenario, he doesn't see his kid now, through his kid's childhood. What would you want to tell his kid right now? So we'll leave that for our next guest. But today was a really, really good episode. I'm full, man. I got some good information right there. I'm sure that the guys, everybody in the audience, got some information out there. Dom, your last words, bro. What do you have to say for us?
I've been
Because
dealing
you're the
with shit
troublemaker.
from.
You the troublemaker.
Am I? You see
Yeah.
now. You
It's
see.
you,
I'm
bro.
not the troublemaker. I'm not. No, I've been
You're the
dealing
troublemaker.
with I've been dealing with shit since this morning. But the case I've been dealing with is actually a fresh one. So there hasn't been alienation yet. The couple is fighting each other here, and the baby is not.
He's
You,
in the
you,
middle.
you know when you know when you just break up and there's those battles and
Those-
the one's accusing
those
the other
feelings, those
and
hard
all of
feelings,
that.
yeah.
So those are the cases. And guys, I hope that you learning from this, and that
Consider the children.
when you see this happening, intervene. It's again, we are the only people, us alienated fathers, who actually care, and alienated mothers who actually care about the child's best interest. That's all we want. We just want them to be happy, healthy, and good standing citizens.
Yeah, that's no, without a doubt, bro, without a doubt. So,
But yeah, what
I,
I've discovered just quickly is again, it's a matter of behavior. It's how you present stuff. So I know Kyle and I kind of made a joke about it now the other day that you need to take improv classes, but though if you shaken up, if you anxious, if you angry, if you crying, ruk yourself reg eerste, pull
reach out
yourself
to
right
somebody, man.
before you go, before you, and yeah, speak to us.
Speak to
we
somebody.
not we are not qualified. We will say once again, we are not qualified. We just
Not
have
at all.
created a platform for people to speak their minds because no one's listening. At least we are listening to each other, and we coming together, we holding hands, and we're saying, hey, you can kill one, you can stop one, you can have a protection order against one, but
You
how many
can't
are
kill
you
all
going
of
to
us.
dish out? Yep.
But that's exactly it, you guys. If you need anybody to reach out to, anybody to speak to, don't hold everything in, man. I know what it feels like. I know how lonely this road can be. Reach out to anybody. Reach out to us. Reach
Get
out to
it off your
family
chest.
members and get it off your chest. Get it off your chest. It's going to help. It's going to help in your case as well. So look, at the end of the day, peace and love. From my side, we do the best that we can. There's no such thing as I would say, like, there's no such thing as wrong when it comes to parenting. Because at the end of the day, there's no right way to do parenting. There's no people write books, but it always is also their personal experiences. So they're literally making up the rules as you go along, because that is what we do. It's what we do in our
But
situations. And anybody's yeah.
again, God has designed us instinctually. When you become a parent, your brain automatically changes. I can't wait to get Deirdre on this topic, because she
Let's
can
get them all on
actually,
board, bro. Let's
yeah,
get them all on here.
Deirdre has to actually tell you about what happens mentally to a father and a mother, and you'll realize
I would
why we
love to hear
can't
that.
just walk away, why we are willing to die for this, why we
I
cannot
can't wait
just,
for that.
we can't go, we can't continue with life. In any case, before we now start another show here, Kylo, thank you so much, brother. I wouldn't have been able to do this one alone. Like I said, it's been a rough day, but thank you. That's
I
the
think you should.
support
I
that
think you
we need.
should have
That's
me on as a regular, my bro. I think I
no,
should
you're
become,
gonna be
your
on every
regular,
show. Listen, you
co-host.
no, you the dirty co-host, and any co-host for that matter. Yeah, every show
yeah.
we do. Peace and love, people. Stay safe. Again, keep your mind right. This is being done to you. It is not your fault. Speak about it. Here's your platform.
Cheers, guys.
Anything else, guy?
Peace out.
All
That's
right.
good, bro. I'm out.
See you.
Peace out, guys.
Bye.